Set your butane torches to high and your expectations to low. Coming to you live from Just the Tip Cigars in the hills of the Steel City. Get ready to get your fix. This is the Cigar Junkies Podcast. Welcome to the Cigar Junkies Podcast, a cigar show for the community by the community. A forum that talks stogies, booze, food, and anything else in the cigar lifestyle. If you're looking for ratings, negativity, reviews, or an authority on all things cigars, you came to the wrong place. Whether you like what you hear or not, please join the conversation and let us know by finding us at the Cigar Junkies Facebook group or emailing us at thecigarjunkies@gmail.com.
What's up, junkies?
Wow.
It was just sitting on top. That drink was way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a
Mr.
little
Shot.
too much going there.
Yeah.
I did warn you at least.
Yeah, dude, it just did not flow well. The whole top was just wild turkey. I'm like, listen, I got nothing against wild turkey.
Yeah.
But like I generally drink above that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, Wild Turkey 101, there's nothing above that. That is great.
It's good stuff.
It doesn't have the smoothness a lot of people tend towards, but it is delicious.
I think you're gonna get pulled off pretty quick here.
Oh, right at the
Giggity.
get-go, huh?
That's what she said.
That's all right.
It's a strong possibility. Jesus Christ, Jason out here just
Smacking things around.
coming in like a wrecking ball. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good for the show. In case you don't know, Just the Tip Cigars now has shop puppies. Screw you, Dave Puskovich. Anybody can have a cat. We've got dogs, and they are vocal.
The Cigar Junkies Doggy Daycare.
Hey, I like it. We dude, we're franchising out. We're branching out, dude. It's
absolutely.
It's all over the place and shit. I'm good with, dude. They're so awesome to have here, though. But yeah, I hadn't even considered the fact that was going to be an issue. But so, if you need to ask yourself the question, who let the dogs out? Sam let the dogs out. That's who. They're Sam's puppies are here keeping an eye on the shop while Brittany's out doing her thing. On the plus side, there's actually some good looking cats in this place today, but they're dogs. You know what I mean? So, anyways, sorry to everybody that got messed up by our inability to schedule accurately this week. It's been a mess. Sam had a terrible sinus infection, which kept us from doing the show on Sunday. And then we were originally going to do 9 a.m. today. I had to take my kid to the doctor, so we postponed again. But we're here, man. We're not going to let you down. What's up? Keith Kilburn's here. So maybe this whole Monday thing's right. Maybe Sam's got something to the days where you just show up and see who comes to hang out, man.
We changed it to Mondays now.
A whole different crew, whole different crowd. We could do Mondays unless I'm in Galv.
Yeah, if you're over at Galvanized, Monday be a problem.
If I'm over at Galvanize, eventually everything's going to be a problem. But while I'm training, it's cool because I'm like, just put me on Monday through Friday, unless Craig and Jason both take vacation days like assholes, and just I don't even care. It's just so many. It's hard to keep track of when I got to be there, man.
Yeah.
It's like I've looked at that schedule 3 times already. My wife has no idea. She's like, there just might be days where I have no dinner for you because I don't know if you're going to be here or not. I'm like, that's cool. I'll fend for myself. I've been there before. I dig some quarters out of the fucking couch and go get some junior bacon cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Well,
and unfortunately,
$8
over at, what is it, Station 6 by the
Six Shop.
Six Shop, that's what it. Six Shop's got that fucking
They got the good snack
over
shop
there.
Dude, that place is I'll go over there and roll back with like 5 ice creams and fucking. The only thing they don't have is Diet Mountain Dew. Other than that, man, I'm rolling. Dude. You know what sucks? They charge like 30 cents for some stuff. And I wish they would just make it like 50 cents.
It's not even 30 cents. Some things are 60. Some things are 70.
Some are 35.
Yep, something like that.
Just round up to the next quarter. You know what I mean? Because I'll be over there doing the math. Like, am I screwing these guys over? Am I putting enough money in here? I count everything like 6 times. Like,
no, you know what? I've gone over there 3 or 4 times.
I always leave more money.
I always leave more money.
But I'm scared that sometimes because of the math, I'm actually leaving like $3 more than I do. Because I'll come up, like, I need to take a shopping bag because I'll just come back with snacks out the ass.
See, I get the cup of noodles. He's got cup of noodles over there for 50 cents a piece, and that is just way too stinking convenient.
It is convenient, yeah. Way more convenient to just buy him like the giant case and trying to find somewhere to stash him in the mill, for sure. But
What I miss?
nothing. We just decided to talk about snacks at work.
What is your go-to snack? What was your go-to oil-filled snack? That's separate too, because you don't have a microwave.
What a fucking great question.
Right? Were you a Beanie Weenie guy?
I was not.
There was so many Beanie Weenie guys.
It depends on when you're talking about. When I first started, I would buy, like if I'd go out to Williamsport, I was so broke. I would buy like a 20-pack of hot dogs at Walmart, a pack of buns, or bread. I'd get bread because you can't get 20 hot dog buns. So I'd get a loaf of bread and $1.59 for the Red Rooster sriracha sauce.
Yeah.
And like I just nuke hot dogs, put sriracha sauce on it and on a piece of bread, and I'd eaten nothing but hot dogs for 2 weeks.
Nice.
I can't believe I'm alive.
We when I was working in Williamsport, we didn't have access to a microwave. So my go-to was I would buy cases of the Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs.
Yep. I'd eat them straight out of the can.
Right out of the can.
Not heating them up. Yep. I do the spaghetti meatballs. I like it better.
Dude, the meatballs, they're so gross, but they're so good at the same time.
It's like dog food for men.
My wife makes fun of me all the time because I'll just
right
out of the can.
You got to heat them up.
And then it leaves that fucking like weird ass film on your teeth that
What's
you're
up,
using
Mike
the inside
Kazor?
of your shirt to rub off your teeth later on in the day.
I'll do you one better. When me and my wife did like a vegan diet challenge once,
God,
that was
why?
like to lose
I did that
weight.
for a year.
I did it, and I did it longer than her, surprisingly. And it turns out that my grandma just made so much bland food than when I was a kid that I could just eat anything. So my go-to then was I'd just, even at home, I wouldn't even heat them up. I'd just open a can of wax beans, dump the water out, and just eat the whole can of wax beans straight out of the can. No salt,
Dude,
no
I could do the
heat,
same
no
thing.
nothing.
Black beans, though. Black beans, I'll crush some black beans.
Yeah, that
Cold
would be
hot, doesn't matter.
bad. For
Anything canned, I would I would eat fucking green beans out of the can. I'd eat black beans out of the can. Kidney beans is pushing it.
Yeah.
Kidney beans had kind of, they gotta be heated up.
Yeah. So I did, when I got to Williamsport, we had a trailer there. So I had the kitchenette. And then I ended up bringing the smoker up with me. So and I also had a expense account. So I just called my boss and be like, hey, I'm making food for the whole rig once a week. And he'd just say, okay. So I'd go buy racks and racks of ribs and briskets. So that was paradise. And then guys would cover my equipment so I could go run the smoker. They had no problem with that because they knew they were eating. But then when I worked, basically everywhere else, we didn't have anything. I had the truck.
Yep.
So my go-to with that is I'd order a bunch of Domino's pizza and then just cold pizza house it. Because you could get a $5. Back when you had the $5 Domino's.
Then it became Little Caesars.
They were gross, but they did the trick.
They keep you alive.
Yeah. So I did a lot of that. I learned how to cook on a steam heater. Dude, if you take like kibasi, a little bit of sauerkraut, wrap it in tinfoil, just stick it in the louvers of the steam heater.
Nice.
Come back in about an hour and a half. Everything's perfect every time.
See, my last 6 months. Go ahead. You got something on that?
Oh yeah. So I used to work for a well tending company. It was in between Select and Cameron.
Yeah.
I worked for a well tending company, and we were out on a range resources pad. And they had what's called TEG heaters.
Yeah, the TEGs, they're natural gas. It's actually not a heater. Isn't it a generator?
TEG generator, yeah.
It's a thermoelectric generator that uses the natural gas to create heat, which then drives electricity to power the automated equipment.
Makes sense, yeah.
So
they have a nice little vent.
It's
around.
Dead flat on the top of that. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, shit, man. I'm going to heat up this can of beans.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So
didn't open it first.
Didn't open the can.
Yeah, I've seen it done, buddy.
And I set it up there.
Oh no!
And I got back, and I was training at the time. I'd only worked there for like 2 months, but I was training at the time. And we're sitting in the fucking truck, and then all of a sudden you hear, boom, and we're like, what the fuck is that? Oh my God, do we need to run?
Jason's like, it's worse than you think.
And then
I've got nothing for lunch now.
all of a sudden, we hear, and there's this shit all over the windshield. And I'm like, what the? Oh no. And I looked at the guy that was training me and he was like, what the fuck? What is that? And I was like, those are baked beans and a little bit of bacon and some
Be honest with us,
brown
Jason.
sugar. And
Did you sell this idea to Pixar? Is this where Sonny with a Chance of Meatballs came from?
no, unfortunately not.
He's like,
Seneca just said when he worked where y'all did, while y'all do, they had someone with severe burns from putting a can of beans on the radiator and they exploded when he opened them. So like the pressure was built up and he did the release.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah, you got real lucky on that.
we used to be such idiots, man. Everybody has to do the contest to see who's tougher, who's fucking stronger, all that shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
We used to put pipe wrenches in the rig heaters, these big tubes they're hot as fuck, but I would stand in them sometimes to get your fucking bottom half warm. So we'd leave pipe wrenches in there for like a half an hour and come back and see who could hold it in their bare hands the longest.
What?
Yeah.
You were just dumb kids.
We're just bored and dumb, and we're fucking men, so we're stupid. And so somebody grabbed it and like, oh shit, that's hot. And then somebody goes, oh, it's not that bad. I can hold it.
Look how long I can.
So that it just becomes a dick measuring competition. Fucking see, dude, I'd never lose those though, because I'm stupid and I could take pain. You know what I mean? Just sit there and fucking no problem. Until I go home and my fucking
You know who to beat all of you with that? My grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck yeah,
She
dude.
pulled them 450-degree pans out.
Yeah.
Like yep.
I remember my
like
grandma would wash dishes and you'd see the steam
Just piling
coming up out of the sink. And my grandmother was like a 4'6" little Italian lady.
Oh yeah.
And
The smaller they are, the less you
she'd
should
be in
fuck
there with her gnarled ass knuckles, washing the dishes and shit like that. And you'd go over and like touch the water and like it would scald your hand.
hurt.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, dude, when I was oil field, we get cold. Sorry, did I cut you off there? All right. But you got the good boots on.
Yeah.
Like the rubber
If you're
boots for
lucky.
the winter. Like I had the big Dunlops.
Mucks.
I had the
Dunlops were the best, bro.
Those with the
Yes.
fucking space boots.
Yeah.
Yes.
I worked for a Canadian company, so they were
look
standard
like,
issue.
They make your feet look 3 times
Oh,
bigger
yeah.
than they actually are.
They're fucking space
but
boots.
Yeah,
dude,
dude.
barefoot, like socks, no sock, nothing inside of them. Just a regular pair of
those
socks, no
had to be-
boots, your feet were warm.
They had to smell terrible.
Oh yeah, they were usually pretty bad.
I was jealous, man. I wanted a pair of those things pretty bad.
They were like $600, but the company would give you one pair when you first started. They would give you a pair, which was all, and then the parka they gave you. Oh, that was a whole nother bag.
Roberto was the shit I was trying so hard to like. Oh, hey, let's have a show. Fuck it. Roberto, our manager at fucking Cameron, that dude was like, first of all, their policy was stupid. When I started there, that place was fucking awesome.
Yes.
Everybody gets a company credit card.
All the supervisors.
Everybody gets paid 24 hours a day. No, everybody had a card. Not even supervisors.
Yeah, that's right. We all
everybody
fucking
got
had
a
one.
credit card and a card for gas if you were a supervisor.
Yeah, you had your gas
no,
card.
everybody had a truck too.
Yep.
But so every 6 months you could buy 2 pairs of boots, 1 pair of leathers and 1 pair of rain boots every 6 months.
Yep.
And Roberto was like, your feet should never be uncomfortable. You never have cold feet out here. I don't care if your boots are a week old. If they leak, go buy a new pair.
Fastest way to shut down
That
somebody
fucker.
working is get their feet cold.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, he was just like fucking... I'd get him to let me buy all kind of crazy shit.
They were so fucking irresponsible with that. So I go up to this site out in Washington. I think it was CNX I was working for at that point in time. So we went up to bleed off a wellhead that was pressuring up while they were drilling. And I go up there and I'm like, fuck, we need an air compressor. I needed like a little air compressor. There was something that needed to be run with this air compressor. And so I call up my boss and he's like, yeah, you got your card, go buy one. So I get in a truck, run the hour.
Good
to the
old
Home
Uncle
Depot,
Cameron.
bought the air compressor, brought it back, and I bought a good one. I bought like a $600 air compressor because I figure we could use it at the shop, right? So they can have it. So I buy this air compressor, I do the job, We get the job done. And I call him and I'm like, hey, I'm going to run this air compressor back to the shop. And he goes, why? And I went, because I'm not going to carry it around with me. And he goes, take it home. And I said, not a fucking chance, pal. Not a fucking chance.
Nope.
I'm not taking it. And I would have loved to. It was a really nice air compressor.
Dude, my favorite memory of Cameron is still when we were up in North Dakota. And I was like, we should get a fucking radio so we could talk to these truckers. And you were like, ain't no way fucking Roberto's going to let you buy that fucking radio.
He let us buy this like $1,200 CB.
I don't think it was that bad, but
it was expensive as fuck.
But the funny part is, I put him on speakerphone. We're sitting in the truck in a truck stop parking lot.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I want this thing. I'm gonna get Roberto. He's like, Roberto ain't letting you buy that. I'm like, you watch. I put him on speakerphone. He said no like 3 times. And I was like, no, man, I get it. It's cool. It makes sense. I was just thinking, if we had this, we come back, you're having problems with communications on lease roads. This thing's universal. Keep it in the shop. Whoever's on that particular job site can use it to communicate and shit. By the end of the conversation, Roberto's like, you buy that radio. Like, fucking, I ain't taking no for an answer. He looked at me and goes, you fucking snake.
I was gobsmacked. Fucking gobsmacked. I'm sitting there, I'm like, see, he ain't gonna fucking do this. And I never said a word the entire time. I just let him cook. I let him fucking cook. And I'm watching, and then my face was like,
what the fuck?
What the fuck? How did you do that?
It was a direct quote. As soon as I hang up the phone, the first thing Jason says is, you snake.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
He told you, he didn't just tell you no, he said fuck no. And at the end, he was telling you,
it was
better,
his idea.
Yes, you better buy it.
That's
you know what I mean? Like fucking
man.
full 180. All right, so how was your week?
I'm going to go back to why I brought up the boots in the first place.
Yeah.
Sure.
We sidetracked.
No, you're good.
Sorry about that.
We're used to it. No, so those boots were great, but I worked solids control, so we always had a ton of lime. So in the winter, you get cold, you'd walk over, you'd spray your boots with water, you go walk through the lime, and you had these freaking heaters. And by the end of like a job, you'd have like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of lime on your boots. But man, your feet were like, even though those boots were already warm, you put that on, that chemical reaction, and then whenever they get too heavy, you just go over and kick the dumpsters. It would fall off, spray them again, step in the lime again. Oh, dude, never had cold
genius.
feet. Dude, some old guy showed it to me, and I was like, yes, please.
You just don't touch it with your bare hands.
Yeah, definitely don't touch it. Because it
You
was.
remember that
like, it was
scene in Fight Club? Where he uses the lime.
where
he puts it on his hand,
Yeah.
and finally he gives them the bacon
That was
soda.
a little dramatic version of it,
Kisses
but
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't just lime, though. That was lime with
Was lie.
lye. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
It's still fun.
Part of it,
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing would happen, just a lot slower with lime. So my week was terrible. My week was horrible. I had that freaking sinus infection, and the one person that's like can kind of fill in for me, my wife, she left for Tennessee on Friday, and I got my wonderful sinus infection on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I had nobody to cover. And then I got the dogs with me, which I thought was going to be a pain in the butt, but like you were saying, they couldn't be happier. They're loving life right now.
Adorable.
But yeah, so then I dealt with that the last couple of days. My back was finally getting better. I was finally not feeling like pure just agony and pain.
Happened?
I don't know. That was
just
that was bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my back wasn't hurting. It was just tight. And then I woke up coughing because the sinus infection had pulled my back again. And I'm like, really? Like, really? Cut me a break. So the last couple of days sucked. But today, I got home last night. I told everybody at like, starting at 7, I'm like, we're leaving at 9. We're leaving. I just kept repeating. Everybody that came in, we're leaving at 9. I'm mentally prepping you right now. 9 o'clock tonight, I'm leaving. 9:08, I was in the truck on the way home. Like, I was not having it. I didn't clean an ashtray. I didn't, nothing.
Yeah.
They left. I did the drawer, shut the lights off, and rolled. Got home, took a shower. By the time I got to bed, it was like 11:30 because I had to eat too. 11:30, fell asleep, woke up this morning at 9, like, I feel like dancing. I mean, I definitely still have the congestion, and I'm working really hard to not have pubescent cracks while I talk right now. because I got that sinus thing going. But other than that,
stay out of the pubescent cracks. It's not good.
Then Paul, one of the guys comes out.
Yes.
You know who he is.
Yeah.
He's been coming down. He's like, one of these days I'm going to come down and you're not going to look like you're in a massive amount of pain. And I was like, thanks, bud. One of these days. Not today, though.
This is not that day.
It was not it. It was not the one.
Fair enough.
How was your week?
My week was probably the most interesting week that we've had in between shows, I would say.
Dun, dun, dun.
So did the gig at the Leading House on Saturday. And, obviously, if we've talked enough about it leading up to it, everybody knows it was the first gig I've ever played in my life. And it was everything I thought it would be and more in every respect. It was a great time. It was awesome. I got there. The show started at 7 o'clock. I got there at 5. And I came in for that like I come in for this. Just extra everything.
Yep. What'd you forget?
Nothing. Well, no, that's not true. I forgot one thing. The sound hole cover for my guitar, which turned out to be a big deal. I will have an extra one next time. Like, it's going to live in my guitar case all the time because I was fighting feedback. But what's interesting is I got there at 5 for the show at 7. I was literally not ready for the show until 7.
Oh, wow.
Like, it took the full 2 hours. Kurt, the sound guy, was not there. So I had to makeshift everything myself. And holy shit, was it so bad, dude. It was terrible. Just feedback, noise, blowing shit out. Like, people just covering their ears in pain.
Oh, no.
And
yeah, it was. When I talked to him afterwards, I said, man, I'm glad it turned out the way it did, because when he was first like sound checking and shit like that, I'm like, you've got to turn everything down like 5.
Oh, wow.
It was a rough setup, dude. And I spent at least a half an hour trying to figure out why I thought my microphone was bad. I thought it got damaged or something, which is crazy because it's a Shure FM 58 and those things are the Glock of microphones.
Oh, yeah. Can't
Like, I'm like, this thing can't be busted. Ended up being the XLR cable, which I had extra of, but not like I have 5 more in this bag that are all tied for these microphones. I've got 5 here. And so just my extras, but I still probably had 4 or 5. And there was one that I didn't notice. And I was like freaking out thinking I was going to have to use this real tiny one because it worked. But it was so small, like my pedal was almost hanging from the microphone stand. And so finally I found another one. But man, it was just such a hassle to set up. And then once we got playing, like most people couldn't tell. I went to Jason after the show. I was like, how was it? Because I was like, I know Jason's going to be like, you fucking suck. Yeah, like Jason will not pull his punches. He'll let you know.
Yeah, he come down to me at the end. We were down in the little kitchen area downstairs.
The bar.
He's like, Jason, you're the first person I wanted to talk to about this. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he goes, yeah, because if anybody would let me know, or if anybody would tell me that I sucked and would be honest about it, you would. Yeah. And I was like, thanks.
Aw.
I appreciate that.
I'll wear that on my sleeve. But I don't think most...
But he sounded good.
Dude,
he sounded good.
The first set, there was a lot of nerves.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it was, honestly, because of that sound hole cover not being there. Because... most everybody, I don't even think he could hear it, but it would start. You ever hear a feedback start?
Yeah.
When you get it starts low, but I could hear it starting, and I'd have to hurry up and adjust the position of my guitar or change a level or cover a string. And so I'm just constantly doing this terrible dance of trying to make it all like keep from fucking up. But it sounded okay. Like I watched the whole first set almost on the video, and I didn't notice it, but what it did was distracted me from other shit. So I would lose words or fucking play a wrong chord or just have to stop.
And that, you know what, that was another thing I told him. I said, man, I've done enough live music that like you're gonna have your 1 or 2 guys out there, your musicians who are like, oh, he missed a chord there, or oh, he missed a word there. But that's not something that sticks with us. You know, because we've done.
But you're not judging for it. You're going, oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Not
here's,
he sucks.
But here's the thing. And what I said to him, I was like, you know what? Other than that, those one or two guys out there that are musicians and that have played shows and that have fucked up and forgot words because none of us are perfect. I said, no one else fucking notices. As long as you keep playing and you keep singing, nobody fucking notices.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to keep trucking.
Yeah.
And
I got a bunch of people message me about it and everybody said nothing but positive shit. So
I appreciate that.
It was a good show. Once he shook the nerves off, man, it was rock and roll from then on out.
Yeah, a lot of great love. Appreciate everybody that come out.
Fucking
Jeff
was going nuts. He was going fucking nuts.
Yeah.
He was like, he pulled me aside and he was like, I swear to God, Corey pulled this playlist from my favorites on fucking Spotify.
Nice, man.
It was cool, man. And like by the end, by a second set, I was pretty loose and just having fun. Be better if Kurt's there next time. It'll be cool, but awesome time. Appreciate Mike Kazura, Jeff Scales, BGD for coming out. Married Trevor, my buddy Wade that helps me with the music production shit. My sister drove all the way from fucking Akron, and she hates drive. Well, her boyfriend Trevor. But she gets sick on long car rides. So like for her to drive 2.5 hours out there to watch the show for a couple hours and then drive right back home,
that's pretty dope.
Was a big deal. It was super cool of her to come out. But anybody, if I'm forgetting you, I appreciate everybody that came out. Dave for letting me do it. It was a great time. And let's go ahead and find out what we're smoking today.
It's time for the Cigar of the Week, brought to you by Leaning House Fine Cigars. The Leaning House is your destination for the ultimate cigar smoking experience. Whether you're exploring their wide selection of premium cigars, unwinding in their comfortable lounge, or enjoying live music on one of the most unique and intimate live music venues in the burg, the house has something for everyone. Do you want to try the stick we're smoking today? Stop by leaninghousefinecigars.com or visit Dave in Bell Vernon or Heidi in Brownsville. Wherever you are, make the house your home for premium cigars.
Make the house your home for premium cigars. And when you go there with your wife to play a show, make sure you thank her on the podcast. I am so ingrained to try to avoid mentioning her. And I do it anyway. But my wife was awesome. She was wonderful. She was sick.
Oh, no.
Okay, so that we got to fucking derail anyway. So why the fuck not? This is what we do. My son got sick at the beginning of the week. My wife got sick. And I'm going, No. I cannot get sick. Like, we've had this show planned for 3 fucking months. It's the first one ever. I'm like literally willing myself not to get sick. I'm taking Zicam, which shortens colds, like it boosts your immune system and shit.
Everything you can.
Every day I'm getting like, I'd cough and be like, nope, no, I'm good. I'm fucking good. Like, I'm psyching myself through it. But she was sick, dude. And she was sicker than I knew she was. She's like, if it was for anything else, I wouldn't have gone. So thank you for sticking through it and coming out, because it would have sucked to do it without her, man. It was awesome to have her there in the front row. She led the applause every time. She was the woo girl.
The woo girl, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, the woo girl where the cold does like.
No. She didn't sound sick.
Okay.
You couldn't tell.
I had no idea.
Okay.
She just wasn't. She's mostly over a cold. I think actually it's probably hitting her a little harder now because she
partying. Didn't take the day off. Yeah.
So like, no, you wouldn't have had any idea.
Yeah.
And she was on the mend. And then you've got Dr. Alcohol taking it from there and covering the rest of it.
It's all good.
But she was fantastic. She was awesome. She was taking videos and helping people find seats and entertaining everybody. So thank you, honey. I love you and I appreciate you. And the cigar that we're halfway done smoking, brought to you by the Leaning House, is the Crowned Heads Sfumato in C major, which is a PCA exclusive. It's a 6 3/4 by 48. I still say it's the shut the fuck up motto, which is my motto. It's got an Ecuadorian Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, a Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Peruvian fillers.
Ooh.
And it is not founded by Davidoff.
No,
that's the most important thing. He's like, David. I'm like, nah,
wait a minute, dude.
I didn't have time to find anything out special about Crowned Heads, which is good because we've been talking for a half hour about all kind of other shit.
Yeah. I wonder if this is pre-Luciano break or post-Luciano break. I don't know how it falls for that, but dude, this is my size. Like I love this size cigar.
I thought you'd be a little shorter, but the girth makes sense.
Oh no, dude. I mean, just the tip that covers it.
That's why you like the V cut. I never looked at it from the profile
Picking
before.
up on it,
It's so familiar.
Yeah. Sorry. Every time I see this, I think of the one from The Boys, because it's just like the big exemplified V. Yeah. Anyways, no. This is like Lanceros. I like from a nerd point of view, like seeing the difference in the wrapper and stuff like that.
Lanceros are great. The only problem is that you've got like such a rate of construction issues. Like there are
it perfect.
Well, there are also a couple of companies that know how to make them perfect, and then there's everybody else who, if you're lucky, 50% of them will be perfect. The other 50%, some of them will have a little bit of issues, and 10% of them are just bad.
Yeah, no, I'd say one of the ones I've been just incredibly impressed with is the Caldwell Eastern Standard.
Okay,
I like that cigar. It's a good cigar, but the Lancero is freaking phenomenal.
Right.
Like it's so much better than the other formats that I've had.
Why?
It just the flavor is all turned up to 11.
Okay.
So you really get like when the pepper hits, the pepper hits. When it dims down and it gets a little bit more cedar to it, you get the cedar out of it.
So why is that?
Because the ratio of wrapper to binder and filler.
So what you have is you have two different mentalities, and that's my next comment was going to be anyway, so I'm glad you asked the question. You have some companies that will adjust the blend so that every size of the cigar tastes as similar as possible.
Aganorsa comes to mind for that.
Most of the flavor usually comes from the wrapper of your cigar, and then the fillers.
That was going to be my next question.
Right.
Like, where does the flavor
The binder
come from?
generally doesn't play a big part whenever it
What
comes.
is the binder?
So the binder is the wrapper underneath your wrapper.
Okay.
So they bunch the tobacco and then they roll it in a leaf. That's your binder. And then they roll it with your wrapper, which is your flavor. Okay. The issue is what the binder's primary purpose is to maintain burn. So some wrapper might burn faster or slower than the filler tobaccos that are in it. So you need to find a compatible binder. Generally, they don't provide a lot of flavor to the blend, but what they do is they make it burn evenly. So you're going to help hold everything at the same burn rate. So essentially what that does is it means that when you're eating your chocolate chip cookie, you're not getting more vanilla extract than you should or more flour than you should because of the pace that you're eating it at, right? It sounds stupid, but that's what happens is this is essentially a recipe. And in order for it to taste the way they intended it to, the whole recipe has to burn at the same rate so you're getting equal amounts of everything. And also it's for construction issues so that you don't tunnel or that your wrapper doesn't burn down too fast.
So the wrapper is where most of the flavor comes from.
Usually.
Generally speaking,
That's
at 90% of the time.
That's strange to me because it is the least amount.
Right.
Of
Which
shit.
is why
Which is why the smaller, sorry, sir.
Yeah, no,
The smaller the diameter, the more.
the higher ratio of wrapper to filler is.
Right.
So like when you got a cigar that's this big around, there's 2% wrapper. When you get a cigar that's this big around, you're at 20% wrapper.
Sure.
In the ratio of it. But like, another one, I think you were in there the other day when I was telling somebody, there's a Gordo, Torpedo, Robusto, and a Corona that this company offers. And he blended it around the Gordo. And then he didn't adjust. He just, ratioed it down from there. So I love the way he described it. It was a Ferio Tega Suma. I love the way he described it. In the Corona, you're basically getting a buddy saying, hey, here's a story I heard. And he's giving you that quick version of it. When you smoke the Robusto, you're getting the actual official Cliff's Notes of it. When you get the Torpedo, you're watching a YouTube summary of it. And when you smoke the Gordo, you're getting the entire book and you just get to read the book.
Okay.
And you get all the details in the bigger ring gauges. And he blended it backwards from expectation.
Which is cool.
The Corona's not the one that you're going to get the most flavors out of. The Gordo is. He blended it to be opposite.
But the point to me is a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll adjust the recipe, the blend, so that the sizes taste as similar as possible no matter which size you're smoking. Now, it's not across the board always going to be that way, but you can get close. I don't like that. I prefer, like, for example, Aladino is one of those companies.
Yeah, drastic
every
differences.
single cigar has a size that's the size for me. That's sticks out is better. And that's what's cool is because you can then go, hey, I'm going to smoke this size. I'm going to change it up and try this one. It's going to be a different experience for you. So essentially you're getting to go, hey, what if we put a little bit more sugar in this? Or what if we put a little more vanilla extract in this? And you get to taste a little bit of the difference between the individual ingredients in the blend.
Yeah. I was watching a podcast with Josh and Sin Coburn the other day, the owners of Dissident. And they were saying they get a lot of complaints that they don't offer more sizes of each cigar.
Right.
And they were saying they want consistency across. They want, the soapbox to taste like the soapbox. They want, the tirade to taste like the tirade. And they get a lot of, people saying, why don't you have this in the Lancero? Why don't you? And they're like, because we can't make it taste the way that we want. And I love it. I love that that's the way that they go about it, because I like that every company has their individual way of doing it. So like, you enjoy that you get the different, because you essentially get different cigars by getting different sizes with some companies where, Aganorsa is one I know for a fact. They blend for consistency. They want it to be the same cigar if it's a 770 or if it's a Lancero.
And it's
very difficult to do.
It's probably better for the masses that way because this is the blend that you want everybody to have and taste. And you're going to have customers that only smoke Gordos. You're going to have customers that only smoke Robustos or Lanceros. And that way, everybody gets the same cigar. You know what I mean? You could try that cigar and be like, man, but I like this size better. Yeah. So when I buy this size and it tastes the same, I'm happy. But if I'm the kind of guy that doesn't care about that so much, that likes the subtle changes or would rather have one that's ideal.
Let's just say it the way it is. You of all people wish that size didn't matter.
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Average size penis looks huge on a small man.
The average penis is only 5 inches long, erect.
Yeah. All right. I'm doing okay then.
I'm not.
The Aladino, man, the vintage selection, I prefer the Rothschild, obviously.
That's different though, because that has an actual unique.
That true.
Has something special.
Okay, let's go to the Cameroon. It's the Lonsdale.
Yeah,
the Lonsdale on the Cameroon fucking stands above the other ones. The Maduro and the Lancero, fucking amazing.
See, it's funny because you and I are so different on that. The Cameroon Lancero is my least favorite from them. But by far, I feel like none of the pepper really gives itself what I want to see.
But that's what it's cool about doing it that way is you go, okay, I can have one line of cigars that's going to catch different people, is because you essentially took one line of cigars and made it 5 by having 5 different sizes. So you go, I might not catch you on this size, but maybe you'll like this one. And I think that's
now me from a retailer point of view. That sucks.
It's rough.
It makes
because
it really
then you've
tough
got to figure out which one is for them, and you have to be familiar with the differences between all of them.
Well, I pride myself in over 90% of what's in that humidor I've smoked at least 2 of.
Right.
But when I say that, and I don't mean to be elusive, and I didn't realize it until right now, I've smoked at least 2 of every Aladino.
Yeah.
Not 2 of every Aladino in each size.
Yep.
So I have no idea what the vintage selection Lancero tastes like.
It's different.
I have no idea.
It is
I've
nothing
never
like
smoked it.
Nothing like the Rothschild.
And especially the way that I run this shop, where it is a lot more. I go into the humidor with you. I'm going to help you pick the cigars, and not from a pushy way. Or I enjoy that part of it.
Listen, as much as everybody thinks, hey, you get to sit there and smoke cigars all day. It's a cool job. It is. It can be, but it is work because you're not going to like everything in there. There isn't a single person you're going to find that's going to go in there and like everything in that humidor. But you need to know what all of it is. So if you go from having, okay, I've got 100 different brands in here or 100 different lines. So I need to know 100 different cigars. Well, then what if half of those cigars are different whenever you change the sizes.
Right.
So now you go, okay, let's say you have an average of 3 sizes per cigar. So now you've got 50 that you're good. The other 50 turns into 150 cigars. So you just went from having to know 100 cigars to 250 of them.
Yeah. Well, it's
a big difference.
like a one that really stands out, that just because recently I've been smoking it and talking about it, but the West Tampa Red.
Yeah.
I don't like the West Tampa Red and the Toro. It's one of the, I actively do not like that cigar. I fucking love the Robusto though.
Yeah.
I mean, the Robusto, I would happily smoke that all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I can't stand the Toro. I find it to be, and look, guys, this is my take on this. This is not what
it's his asshole.
I find it to be
your asshole's different.
boring, but the Robusto is exciting. You know, it's just. Did you just
every once in a while they catch me,
Yeah.
man? They catch me.
But no, I find it to be boring compared to the Robusto, where there's just like, I feel like there's a lot going on, which doesn't make much sense to me because it is the same ring gauge. So like something in the blending is different on that one.
Well, what happens is the tips.
But yeah,
Do you know about that?
Yeah, which direction they put them and all that makes a
Right,
big difference.
because so essentially what happens is if you think of tobacco in general, the easiest way to think about it is the smaller it is and the thicker it is, the more strength it has. Okay? So think about it this way. A plant has nutrients and sunlight to divide amongst everything. Okay? The most concentrated parts of that cigar, like the bigger leaves are on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
They're bigger, but they're thinner. So that flavor is spread out amongst that size. So if you imagine every leaf has the same amount of nutrients to be put into it, what's the compression? What's the ratio? The top priming is the smallest leaf, but it has the most, it's thicker and it has the most flavor in it.
Which is going to either
And the
be
tip-
your media tempo. If you get media tempo, that's going to be your top leaf.
Or Corona leaf,
Yeah,
they call it too.
yeah. If it's not, but because only certain plants actually grow that, and
Yeah.
it's not even like 100% predictability rate. And then from there, then you have Ligero, which is on every plant.
Right.
Ligero is across the board your strongest tobacco, unless media tempo shows up.
So what happens is, though, at the tip, the narrowest part of that leaf, it's more concentrated. That's where your pepper is. Okay. So when they put the filler in, even if it's whole leaf filler, they still rip the leaves to make them fit the size of the cigar, right? So if you have a shorter cigar, you're going to take that leaf and break it in half and put it in there. So you can have tips forward or tips inward, essentially, which means some cigars, like a Robusto, typically when you smoke a Robusto, you get that flavor right away. You know what I mean? But if you have a bigger cigar and you turn the tips in, then you're going to get it in the middle of the cigar is where you're going to get that kick and flavor.
Yeah. So you basically, you start with this, your strongest ends here, your weakest ends here. When you rip it, do you blend your strongest to your weakest, or do you blend your strongest to your strongest? It's going to change the way that, you can increase the strength a lot or a little bit, or you can kind of change it. So do you want it to slowly build as you smoke, or do you want to hammer at the beginning and then have it
mellow out?
And then a lot of the times they'll use that to maintain consistency. So you'll hit it hard at the beginning, and then since the cigar acts like a giant filter to itself the whole time, inevitably it will continue to pick things up on its own that weren't there. So like if you started this cigar at this point, smoked it all the way down, when you get to here, it's a whole lot stronger than if you cut it off here and then lit it there and then started smoking, because you have that filtering through itself.
Which is why I think as a stronger bodied cigar smoker, I have a tendency to not be enthusiastic about a cigar on the initial first inch. Because the whole time you're smoking that, your vacuum that you're creating is drawing oils down to the base. So that's why even if you try to be as dry as you can puffing on this cigar, you're still going to have moisture at the tip of the cigar whenever you're smoking it. And sometimes you'll even get a plug.
Yep.
And if you ever heard somebody say that their cigar got plugged, I had to purge it. I had to blow through, which is if you've had that issue before and you didn't know what causes it, it starts to plug on you. Like your draw is perfect in the beginning, but toward the halfway or last third, you start to have draw issues. you want to just blow through the cigar a couple of times, because what you're doing is pushing out the blockages and redistributing the oils through the cigar, and then try and drawing again.
See, my problem, like a cigar like this, it's got a really light wrapper. What is this?
Ecuadorian Connecticut.
It's a Connecticut. Okay, so on a Connecticut wrapper, the wrapper is not. I don't know if it's flavorful enough.
Yeah.
But I can taste any Connecticut wrapper. I can taste the pectin in it. By the time I get halfway down, when I put the cigar in my mouth, it's nothing but glue. That's all I taste.
Well, Connecticut shade, so shade leaf has a tendency to be more bitter too.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. So when we've talked about the process of aging tobacco to create Maduro, that is something that you can only do with a leaf that's robust enough to do that with. It has to be a top priming, because it has to be a thick enough cigar to put up with that process of being rotated for a longer period of time and aged, which causes the darkness. So on a lighter, you notice they're thin, they're brittle, right? So what that means is that it's automatically had less fermentation time. So you're going to have less time to take the ammonia and things out of that leaf, which is going to leave some of the bitterness in the wrapper.
Yeah. Let me see your cigar for a second.
All right. Well,
while he inspects that,
I want to show you something too. So look at the burn line on yours. It's not bad at all. Cigar's fantastic construction. It's holding up. But you got like the dip here, the dip there, right? Now we know we got these cigars from the same place. We lit them at the same time and all that. See how mine's damn near pencil straight?
Yeah.
And yours is damn near the same as well. The rate that we've been smoking at is different.
Yes.
So you keep messing up your recipe by getting those little dips. Now,
you're
it's not a bad thing.
overheating.
You're going just a little bit too fast.
On a lighter cigar, well, for most cigars, there's an ideal rate of smoking, right? And if you've ever noticed that you've got a long cone, like a long cherry on the end of your cigar, it's because you are drawing faster than the inside of that cigar can burn. So you're burning the wrapper and the binder, but you're not burning the filler. That Ligero in the middle, the wick of your cigar, is also going to be the slowest smoking point.
What do you mean by the Ligero in the middle?
Usually, most of the blend they take. You ever look and find like a real thick piece of? Some people think it's a stem in the center. Usually, that's where your Ligero goes because it's the slowest burning. So they put the Ligero in the middle of the bunch because that is the wick.
Just to clarify, not always.
Not always.
They don't always use Ligero. That's why.
No.
Okay.
But when it's in there, that's where it is. You're gonna find that thickest part right in the center, and it's for construction. It's for burn purposes. So if you ever notice that when you kick your ash off, you've got a long cherry on it and it looks like a pencil or a spear tip, it's because you're actually drawing faster than that blend can keep up with you.
Interesting.
So you are actually going to be kind of ruining the flavor of that cigar by smoking too. Not ruining. It depends on what you like.
You were smoking it other than design.
Sometimes, in fact, most of the times, I have the opposite problem. I have a cone inside.
Right. Now, that'll happen from... So basically, picture that as a diamond. So you got the pointy part sticking out because you're going too fast. When it catches up, now you've created so much heat here that it'll reverse and it'll burn down. And then when the ash falls off, it'll fall off the other way. So both of them are from smoking too fast, but two different ways of smoking too fast.
It depends on the blend and how everything burns. But the thing that, like, it's hard to actively maintain in your head how you're paying attention to drawing on a cigar.
And the most important part is you're not wrong.
Right.
If you like the way you're smoking it, you're right. That's all this pretentiousness is a pain in the ass.
Ideally, 1 to 2 puffs per minute.
And you know what? While we're talking,
I was trying.
We've actually been talking about.
Sam's gonna read.
We've been talking about cigars for almost 20 minutes.
I know, and I didn't want to
weird,
stop.
dude.
That's why I was like, But hey, on that note, remember, if you're listening, you are the Cigar Junkies, and the show is still going because of your incredible support. We invite you to help us grow the community. By liking and sharing our podcast, you become a crucial part of our journey. Your enthusiasm and interaction not only keeps us going, but also allows us to reach new listeners who share a passion for the art of cigars. Your support means the world to us. Like and share and subscribe to the Cigar Junkies podcast on every platform. Write in on the Facebook group or the cigarjunkies@gmail.com, and let's continue the journey together. And something you didn't realize the other day
was we're on like anywhere you can listen to a podcast, basically.
I had no idea.
He thought we were just on Spotify.
Oh, no
and Apple.
shit.
Dude, we're
No,
on
pretty
we're
much
on-
everything.
Yeah, we're on YouTube podcast, Amazon podcast, Apple.
Podbean's hard because it seems like Podbean will update to a certain point and then stop, and I have to go back in and like jumpstart it. But for some reason, I have to go in and do that.
I think
but-
I got that fixed.
Did you?
Yeah, there was
I haven't
a-
checked in a little
There
while.
was an issue with the RSS feed where it was putting another letter at the end as an
Oh.
identifier, and I deleted that.
Fuck yeah.
And I haven't seen an issue because it's been
It's
like
good.
2 months since we had an issue.
Because I know it's not the best podcast catcher by any
we get like
measure,
15 though.
but it's actually the one I use.
Oh, really?
And so the problem is once you use one, you kind of don't want to switch to another one because you already have all of your stuff. It's just like changing your cell phone carrier or your bank. Like there might be something better out there, but do you want to go through the trouble of making the changes to get over there?
Right.
So if you're on Podbean and that's your place of choice to get stuff, you want to be accessible everywhere.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets their stuff somewhere different.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so-
I do have to say thank you to everybody. I mean, you guys have obviously been telling people about us. The numbers have
You
been
guys have been making Jason right, which pisses me off and makes me happy at the same time.
we've had an increase in not just like the listens overall, but like the rate at which we're getting listens and we
Volume
really
across the
appreciate
board
it.
too.
What's that?
Across the board too.
Yeah.
Facebook group is growing.
Yeah, we broke
YouTube's
700
growing.
today.
Yep.
7,000.
700. No,
700
members of the group.
Actually, it was
Hey.
yesterday.
Yeah, we're just shy of 7,000. So next week, I'm figuring we're going to be saying thank you for
It
7,000
had
listens.
to be the day before yesterday, because there was 701 whenever I took the new members.
I may or may not have kicked like 35
yeah.
and we got them back.
Well, we got them and then we moved. Yeah, I mean that happens.
there was a couple.
We broke
We did
700
good for a
there.
while, dude. We haven't had a whole lot of spammers lately.
The YouTube numbers are doing
Yeah.
real well. Like they're for YouTube, they're tiny, but
Yeah.
for YouTube on a
No,
cigar
dude,
podcast
getting
that's
better.
growing is getting pretty damn good.
And-
so that's you guys for sure.
And if you guys comment on the YouTube videos, it really, really helps. The more comments we get on there, that's like YouTube's number one thing for the algorithm. It's not about the likes on there as much as it is about subscribers, and then number two is comments. The more
Comments, yeah.
interaction
Alright,
is the
there you
most
go.
important part.
We're learning.
Yeah, but any interaction aside or any interaction above the view is
Right.
Right.
it's like if you watch the video, that's one view. But if you comment on it, the algorithm treats that comment like
Algorithm.
that algorithm treats that comment like 10 views.
The algorithm.
The algorithm.
Yeah. So yeah, look at it like that. Like one view is one view, one subscriber is 10 views, and one comment is 5 views. Like it all helps.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Something else to bear in mind for you guys out there that like, because they wouldn't know if they're just coming in. Like you guys don't necessarily know who we are outside of here or where we came from the beginning, especially if you're one of those people that's going to go back and listen. Like none of us, this is not our job.
Yeah.
None of us.
Well, kind of.
like,
That's
but
Sam's
no, this
no,
is
it's
not
actually kind of part of my job at this point.
Well-
it's marketing. I'm a business owner. It's part of my job.
What I'm getting at is a little
just
bit of
kidding.
growth means a lot to us
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of time that we have for this outside of what you guys get to see. There's less time currently behind the scenes probably than there is on camera that goes into this other than just little bits throughout the week.
I would say you're right as far as like active time that we put into it outside of this. But inactive time, I
In
know
terms of
that all
together-
three of us spend a lot of time thinking about the show throughout
Yes.
the week.
But what I'm saying is like we're not getting together
Yeah.
on a weekly basis and talking about the shit. Sometimes as soon as the show's like fucking everybody's bailing as soon as the show's over because I got somewhere to be, you have somewhere to be, we have work to go to,
get
we have other
customers
shit to
showing
do,
up, yeah.
customers. So like a lot of times what you're seeing is it in terms of our interaction as the junkies. And hopefully I've taken some steps to kind of start our journey to the next level. But that's still a process that takes some time. And hopefully we're going to hit a place where we can start snowballing some more and really start feeding into it. But in the meantime, the growth is you guys.
Yep.
The guys that fucking Google it and find it randomly, the friend that tells somebody else about it, people like Troy Harper that are out there Bible thumping for
Yeah,
us
man.
in fucking the middle of the
On
country.
it.
Like randomly sharing every post from Just to Tip Cigars from like 3 months before they were even open.
And so mad at you at the same time. Dude, I was laying there. I think I was in bed. And all of a sudden, ding, ding. I'm like, oh, I got 2 notifications. Ding, ding. Okay, what's going on? Ding, ding. I'm like, all right, what the hell's going on? And I just started scrolling. I'm like, oh my God, stop. I want to go to bed. Screw it. I'm silencing my phone. I'm done. It's just...
See, that's where I'm smart, is because I don't allow Facebook to give me notifications.
Oh.
I when I open up Facebook, I'll see the notifications on there, but Facebook can't send me notifications. So
well, I get more people that message the shop than call the shop. So I need the notifications to come through. So I know that,
Facebook Messenger will still give me notifications. So like if I get a message from somebody on Facebook, it just comes through like a normal one. But instead of getting like, oh, somebody liked your post, I don't know about that until I open the browser and look at it. So it's kind of good.
No, because I run a lot through MetaSuite, and that runs a whole different.
Yeah,
that thing can be oppressive.
He was showing me his the other day.
He
was showing me his MetaSuite the other day.
Your buddy was showing you his MetaSuite the other day.
Your buddy was showing you his MetaSuite the other day.
So that's something. One of the reasons that I want the login for the Cigar Junkies is because I think I looked at it on the computer here, and it's not completely set up yet.
How are you now? Holy shit.
I looked up at the TV at just the wrong moment to see McMurray roll out in a leopard. What the hell is it called? Speedo.
It was a banana hammock,
It's like,
bro.
bam. I'm like, oh, there's that.
It was a banana hammock.
So,
and thanks to you, I saw it just in time, too.
It just...
I got to see the last millisecond of it.
That was a fine. How are you now?
Fortunately, so I have the camera set up. If you're looking at the feed right now, I've got the camera set up so my head blocks the television so that we don't get fucking nailed for like...
Yeah. Oh, here it comes again.
Hey, look, it's us.
Yeah. That's what I said earlier.
There. So, everybody in the chat, who's who? So we got Derry, we got Wayne, and we got Squirrely Dan up there. Who's who?
Oh man, which
one's which?
If I had to pick a Squirrely Dan, I'd have to give it to Seth Jones. Like for the people in the group, for sure. Troy's Derry.
Oh yeah,
Troy's Dairy.
Why you gotta be so fucking awkward, bud?
Yeah, that's right. Bring it down 10%. No, man, fucking, it's cool. Well, why don't we talk about the cigar news?
I mean, why? We talked about cigars so much instead.
Yeah.
I thought there was no news.
There was no news, but then there is news.
Okay.
Yeah. It's time for the cigar news, brought to you by Tom's Penworks. As a cigar smoker, you appreciate luxury. And as a premium cigar smoker, you appreciate handmade craftsmanship. And as a customer of Tom's Penworks, you'll appreciate the selection of custom-made, limited production items that you can show off to your friends. From handmade pens, pencils, bottle openers, cigar cases, and now custom rings, Tom will create something special for you or your loved one. Find him on the web at etsy.com/shop/Tom's Penworks. And as always, you can find the link in the description for this episode. You can find the link in the description. I don't know if it works. Because a lot of times I put those links in there and they just don't fucking do shit. But you could figure it out. You got Google, so use it. You know what I mean? Use the Googlies. So the first item of news is the reason that you have news. Because I didn't think there was news until I saw this, and then I started to pick up some other shit. Sinistro or whatever the freaking hell you want to call it is to release a new batch of the Last Cowboy Limited Edition. 4.5 years after releasing the Last Cowboy Limited the first time, Tomardo Cigars, Sinistro is bringing the cigar back for another limited release that is available to all of its retailers and will begin shipping in mid-September. Nearly all the details from the original release will remain the same. It is a 16.5 by 56 Toro Gordo. It uses a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper, Mexican San Andreas binder, Dominican Puerto Cubano, and Nicaraguan tobacco in the filler, and it's a blend created by James Agapian, something, of Sinistro. You love the fucking names that are hard, bro. It's your jam. The packaging.
I don't know. That is a good one.
Yeah, it's interesting.
A Hopian?
The packaging that made these cigars notable is back as well, with 14 cigars inside, divided into 2 groups of 7, with each cigar wrapped in red paper, then bound together with black ribbons and long fuse-style caps that are twisted together to replicate the look of dynamite. It's also a nod to the graphic on the box lid of how the last cowboy is lighting his cigar. And that is actually the reason that I was like, oh, we got news. Because I'm like, that's fucking dope. Those cigars are a bundle of fucking dynamite.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is fucking sick, dude. It's great. It's almost as good as the idea I gave Dave Garofalo when I stopped in and visited the Cigar Authority. But I can't tell you about that one because I want to get sued in case he uses it. Because he might be freaking crazy enough to do it. Las Finas Lames collaborates with, Jesus, what the hell? Castigli on Villa Castigli Eye Punch Bracelet. For the third time, France braced Les Finas Lames and Castigli or Castig. We're not saying that
I'll
word
tell you
anymore.
what, we need to hire
we need
a native
what's
Spanish
Roberto
speaker.
doing these days?
Is Roberto a native Spanish speaker?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks American as fuck. He just looks like a tan ass white boy.
No, he looks like he's from Texas.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's a pretty guy though.
Roberto's a good looking dude.
He's a very
That's pretty
good
man.
looking guy. Yeah, for sure. Anyhows, we're somewhere.
Or we get Antonio Jimenez.
Cuz dogly.
Less pretty. So this is a punch bracelet. It's a wearable cigar cutter made in France by this company and features a connector designed with a 7mm punch cutter. According to press release, the exclusive model is decorated with 2 Nazar eye beads, 8mm Malashiti beads, and silver charm representing the special relationship formed over the years. In addition, the bracelet is designed with an adjustable cord, meaning that the size of the bracelet can be adjusted for the individual user. I actually don't think this is an attractive piece of jewelry. However, I think it's a fucking awesome idea.
Oh, that's malachite, by the way.
Okay.
Can you pull that up? Can you
So,
we can see what it is?
So what we need is fucking like a Room 101 version of this.
Dude,
It's like a skull, like
dude
a
is
cool.
freaking amazing. No, he did a tool series, and then he did some it's basically like nuts and bolts kind of thing that are skulls, and then you flip it open, and there was cutters kind of underneath of them.
So the way this works is like the connector, I think, that holds it together. When you pull it apart, it's a punch. I would never use a punch, but I like having options, which is why it's super dope. I won the little folding scissors at House of Feruza, and so I keep it on my keychain.
So you have a
That's
cutter.
not my preferred cutter, but I can tell you at least 5 times in my life, I've used my pocket knife to cut a cigar.
Dude, thumbnail, it all works. That's, one of these days we'll show it on here, like how to use your nail to do it properly, because there's a right way to pull the cap, and just it's fine.
Yeah, I need to financially motivate the crew here. Once we get some financial motivation, maybe we could actually do the How to Cut and Light series that I've wanted since the inception of the show. It's possible. Or maybe it'll just be the thing we talk about until the last episode.
Ooh, I just realized something cool. About
Half Wheel. Go on halfwheel.com. And which, if you just Google cigar news, Half Wheel will be one of the top 4 results. And just scroll down the page, you'll see it. It has like a Arizona Indian vibe to it, with like some of the bluestones and shit. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take care of this.
I
real
see
quick,
that.
But on this, hello, dogs are saying
you gotta help.
So on this third one, once you finish reading the news, hey.
All right, just say what you want to say, and then go do the dogs.
On the third piece of news, he smoked it the other day, so he can actually talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Who let the dogs out? Sam let the dogs out. All right, kids. The Camacho Broadleaf goes on sale. The new Camacho Broadleaf line, which shows off Honduran-grown broadleaf, is now on sale in the U.S. The blend features a Honduran broadleaf wrapper, a Honduran-grown binder, and filler that uses Honduran and Dominican tobaccos. Though the varietals of the binder and filler tobaccos have not been disclosed, the line comes in 3 sizes and presented in boxes of 20. And the dogs just love this cigar. What else can I tell you? They get excited, man. The Camacho cigars get them dogs howling and shit. How you doing? You finding the graphic?
I had that cigar the other day. It was really, really, really good.
Did you find the bracelet?
Really nice smoke. Yeah.
Cool.
Relax.
I'm chill. It's the dogs that need to relax, man, not me. I'm chugging down this fucking bananas ass root beer. I highly recommend having one. These dogs are like, dude, they're so happy here, man. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Any cigar shop can have a cat, dog, whole different animal. Literally. Troy Harper jumping into the chat room saying, hello, junkies. What's up? It's nice to see you, Troy. I know you're working. Hope we're not distracting you too much. We love having you guys support us in the middle of the... You've just added a browser source. We got an interesting graphic up in the corner. It's just a little ninja star for me right now.
Yeah.
There it comes. All right. So the metal part of that there bracelet is, you can't hardly even tell what it is, but the metal part is a punch. So it's nifty. I like to have gadgets. Gadgets are definitely the easiest sell in the world you'll have for me. If you have a cigar cutter, that's one thing. If you have a lighter, that's one thing. If you have a cigar cutter built into a cigar lighter, I'm probably going to buy that shit more than once.
I'll tell you what, I got that one I have has the punch in it. And
never use those,
yeah,
really.
I'm not.
In the beginning phases, I tried it. Not my jam. Not my jam at all. To be honest with you, though, like if you ask any cigar manufacturer, punching is wrong. Like, it's all about what's right for you. We say that all the time. There is no right and wrong. It's what you like and what you don't. However, most people that choose to use a punch or a V-cut is because of the fact that they don't like having the pieces of tobacco in their mouth. But if you do a good job on your straight cut, it's going to be minimal anyway. But what you're doing is you're channeling the smoke through a smaller diameter, which essentially prevents the cigar from being smoked in the way it's intended to be.
Yeah, I V cut, but the correct way to cut is a straight cut.
Yes,
that is the right way to do it.
You're fully opening up the cigar to draw properly and not cause. I saw Steve Saka chime in on this recently. That. If you're V cutting or you're punching, you have burn issues. It's a good possibility that could be part of it because the cigar is not drawing the way it's intended to be.
Yeah. Now I've had a lot of people ask me lately, customers ask why I V-cut. And a large reason that I do it is because I rotate the cigar every time I hit it, and I keep track of it. So I hit it this way, and then when I put it down, I rotate it. And I just rotate while I smoke the whole time. So I don't think maybe twice ever I've had tunneling issues, ever.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. But with the cutter that I use, I mean, that thing's damn near wide open anyways, on most cigars. Now, if it's not damn near wide open with a V-cut, I cut it twice. And then I'll just crown cut it.
Just before I met you, I realized that I was a fast cigar smoker because that was the point where I had started to incorporate smoking cigars in my travels to and from work because I could smoke in my company truck. And what I would have is those long ass cherries on the end, them pencil tips that we were talking about. And I was smoking a lot of Gordos. I think a lot of Lucia Luchador Gordos, 660s.
Yeah.
And I'd noticed that happening a lot. And I realized I'm smoking them too fast. And that was what was doing it. And it would vastly improved the experience for me by just going like, okay, you need to pay attention long enough to change your habit of how you do it is what it is. Eventually, if you're going, okay, this is how often you'll just automatically correct yourself.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, when you don't even realize, hey, that could play any part in it. It happens with cigarettes too. You smoke a cigarette too fast. Plus it's too hot. So that changes your flavor, even though you're already screwing it up from a combustion standpoint because you're not burning everything evenly. But by smoking faster, you're heating it up too much. And when it gets too hot, you're not going to be able to taste all of those components. It's going to start to burn your...
Well, and then since we're talking about cigars today, like you want to keep this much ash pretty much all the time. Yes. You need to keep that insulator to keep even combustion. It's really important to not be constantly... I'm getting yelled at here.
Ideally, you want like, depending on the size of the cigar, if you're on a little bit bigger of a ring gauge, I'd say 1 inch is probably 3/4, half an inch maybe, depending on a smaller cigar.
I'd say
but a bigger cigar, bigger cigar, 3/4 of an inch to an inch, it's not going to fall off if it's properly made whole leaf filler cigar.
And you're now that's another thing. Guys will be like, well, yeah, but the ash falls off too much. Is it pointy whenever it's done?
Right.
Are you smoking too slow?
Right.
You're like that happens too.
Sure.
You keep that good insulator, you go too slow. That's where you're gonna get some of that reverse burn in there. You're gonna have problems with that.
Right. There's a couple of things there that are
so many
counterintuitive.
factors. Yeah.
But what happens is that ash insulates the cherry of the ember from the air. So when you're drawing through it, you don't have direct air contacting the ember of the cigar, which is going to make it obviously burn hotter. If you ever blown on a hot coal, you know that it's going to light up real fast. So that insulates it and keeps the cigar running cooler. In addition to that, too, you would think that heat rises. So if you have a cigar that's burning unevenly, you'd want the uneven part on the top where the heat can get to it. But it's not heat you need, it's combustion. And for combustion, you need oxygen, and the oxygen's on the bottom of your cigar.
Correct.
So if you ever need to catch up the burn on your cigar, put the part that is not burning as fast downward, and you can rotate as you smoke a cigar to make sure you're keeping it even. But the part on the bottom is going to actually combust more because it has fresh oxygen to add to that combustion process.
Yeah, the only time I ever judge somebody for how they smoke is if they're judging the cigar and they're smoking it wrong. Like, or not wrong, but less than optimal. Like
less than optimal, and you're not happy with it.
Yeah, I had a gentleman the other day. He's complaining about how the cigar is canoeing, and it was canoeing.
Yes.
I mean, bad. But there was no more than 3 seconds between puffs with this guy. And like big draws, just constant. And I'm like, dude, I don't care what cigar you grab out of that humidor. It's not going to burn well.
Dude,
Like you're hammering this thing.
There's guys over at the Leaf and Bean and McMurray that would just like, holy shit, dude, you're going to burn. I'd burn my thumbs off.
Yeah.
You want to talk about like people like your grandma that have tolerance to heat.
Yeah, these
like,
guys.
holy shit. But that's, rotate it, man. Like,
and set your cigar down.
Yeah.
Put it down. Let it
Don't
go.
smoke one on a bicycle.
Yeah. If it's
I tried that once.
I'll bet you fucking have.
I smoked a vintage selection Rothschild in 15 minutes on a bicycle
yeah, I
because
bet.
the wind, and I had to cherry that motherfucker.
Well, no, like
I was like,
when
yeah, it
you
was
set
not
your
an
cigar
idea.
down, if it's putting off a lot of smoke,
Mm.
that's another good indicator you're going a little quick. Like after you take a hit, you're going to see a good bit of smoke, but there should just be a small trail coming off it when it's sitting in the ashtray, and I mean almost non-visible.
Touch up guys. So you ever see guys that are constantly touching up their cigar with a lighter? There's times when that's necessary. If you've got like more than half of an inch of burn that's uneven, you probably could you might have had a portion of that tobacco that was more moist and refused to burn, and you want to fix that. Or you might have had wind issues or something, and you want to fix it for sure. However, if you're paying attention to it while you're smoking and you notice one side start to go, rotate so that side's on the bottom, and you'll notice that you will not have to continually touch up your cigar with your lighter. It'll continue to burn evenly as long as you move that part down to where it's getting oxygen.
I had the opposite thought about that, and I thought
They
that
heat
you
up.
put that,
Yeah.
the part that wasn't burning.
I did too.
up.
Everybody does at one
And
point or another.
fuck, does that not work? So
No.
I looked it up on the internet, and I've heard you guys say it before too, and it happened to me like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, yeah, I gotta put it on the bottom. And it fucking fixed
It's crazy,
it.
right?
It fixed it.
You're like, there ain't no fucking way it's gonna work. It's like the fucking redheaded guy on all the little fucking reels. It's like, what? You've been telling me for 40 years.
What? No way.
The other guy,
Fuck's
those two
sake.
guys, those guys got to hook up for a collaboration.
Oh yeah.
The no way guy and the 40 years guy, for sure. They need to hook up for some shit. But yeah, man, like it's not always common sense.
No.
Like some of it's counterintuitive, and you need to do a little bit of research or find somebody that knows what they're doing. And you'd be surprised how often the guys that have been smoking for the longest are the guys that do it the wrongest.
The
because
gentleman I was
they've
talking about that was
developed
hammering, he was
bad
the one.
habits.
And I'm like, and I can't correct you. Like you,
Okay.
if you start the conversation with, I've been smoking for 20 years, this thing's burning terrible, and I'm watching you just do everything that this cigar hates to have you do to it. I can't help you here, man. I can't comment on it. I'm not. There's no good way to do this.
Pet peeve: watching people light their cigars wrong.
Oh,
watching them just fucking ruin it. And you might think it's great. You don't know how good it could be if you did it right.
Yeah.
Your cigar should be level. Your lighter should be at a 45-degree angle. Your flame should stay. If you imagine that cigar from the profile looking at the front and you go, okay, that's the planet Earth. Stay above the equator. The fire should go over the top of your cigar, not come underneath of it. What happens is if you come in from underneath, you build up soot on the cigar. You'll see it, and it fucks up the flavor, fucks up the taste. And in order to get that whole blend, the ingredients burning at the same rate, giving you everything, delivering it properly, you need it all to be burning correctly, which starts at the light. Yep. If you don't light it right, that whole cigar is fucked. So take your time with it. Stay above the equator. The reason that you hold the cigar even and the lighter at an angle is it keeps the ash and soot and shit from dropping into the jets and clogging up the ports of your lighter. So the lighter stays at a 45-degree angle, halfway up, never go below that. Let the heat pass over the top of the cigar, rotate it until the whole thing is glowing with some embers. The most important thing, what you're actually doing by toasting a cigar, there's a functional purpose to it. And what it's doing is you have that little bit of pectin at the beginning of the cigar that holds the wrapper binder together so the cigar doesn't unravel on you. But when you go around and you toast the cigar, you're fusing those leaves together, the wrapper and the binder, and that keeps it from unraveling on you. So there is a functional purpose to it from that standpoint. But most importantly, it gets everything burning at the correct rate of speed, and it makes the cigar taste the way it's supposed to. So if you're not doing that, do me a favor. Try it once. Try it my way. If you don't like it, go back. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. Give it a shot one time, and I think you'll notice a difference for sure. What do you think? How far are we into this guy?
We got about 15 minutes left.
15 left?
Yeah.
So we're 1:15 in?
Correct.
I tell you what, for a show where we've talked a lot about cigars, I'm still having fun. Like I'm enjoying it. I think it's actually this might be the best cigar episode we've done in a long time.
Yeah, it's been pretty good
for a show about cigars.
Yeah, right.
Let's go ahead and talk about the events this week. We're going to get right into it. Friday, September 15th at the Dirty Dog Cigar Shop. No pumpkin spice latte for you, just smoke. Join us for a Drew Estate Fall kickoff. All the usual A-list celebrities will be attending. Don't miss out on this one. You don't want to be the, oh, I didn't see them in person. All of the usual sales, deals, and fun will be happening. Now, for the guy that doesn't know how to write a fun-to-read press release, Saturday, September 23rd at the Blind Fox, Bill Coyne's got the Halfway to Patty Day event going on. Join them for drink specials, free breakfast casserole, and good times. Thursday, September 28th at Superior Smoke Shop, the Sam's Show Fall Blowout in Munhall. Deal details: buy 5, get 1 free. Buy 10, get 2. Buy 20, get 5. Buy 25, get 7. Buy 30, and get 3 free for every 10 purchased. They decide the free cigars, so I don't know how good that deal is. I was with you until that part, guys.
You know what? Okay, so I buy 30
shady
cigars, and they give me... Wait a minute.
They give you 3 for every 10.
So
you would get 9.
Get 3 for every 10?
3 for every 10 you buy.
Oh, okay.
So if you buy 30, you're getting 9.
Gotcha.
If you buy 40, you're getting 12.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and those are Philly blunts. Is what they're giving. Either that or some White Owls.
Yep.
Maybe what are the ones that are the backwoods that come in the fucking bag?
Yeah. If you're a pipe guy, maybe you get the Black and Milds. You know?
Yeah, a little Black and Milds.
Sure.
That's what my buddy Chad smokes, Black and Milds.
I used to like those things quite a bit when I was a younger man. I did. I liked the Black and Milds.
Old man, look at my life.
I'm a lot like you were.
Fucking hate Neil Young.
Well, you know, a Southern man doesn't need him around anyhow. You know?
I sure as shit don't.
No, he doesn't. So I'm gonna give you a little tease, like, so you guys didn't have to hear an ad for the Strum Junkies this week, which had to be cool because I know you're fucking sick of hearing about it now that the show's over. Unfortunately for you, we may be back sooner than we thought. We're working on some shit, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We're looking at maybe a new rotating member jumping in, so we'll be hooking up with him tomorrow, see how it goes. If it's a thumbs up, we'll go ahead and rubber stamp it, and we'll tell you next week where you can see the Strum Junkies next. In the meantime, I do appreciate all the support. It was an awesome time.
I'll dust off the old saxophone.
I'm so glad you said a phone. Just looking at your face and knowing who you are and where you could be going with that, it was like...
I'll tell you what, though. My daughter's got a trombone, and I can play that a little bit as well. So.
Is it rusty?
It is not rusty. It's brand fucking new.
There you go. So the trombone isn't rusty, but Jason is.
Yes, I'm very, very, very rusty.
So let me ask you a question. Since Sam's gone, let's have a little fucking nerd talk.
Okay.
Let's do some little comparisons because we're both playing a video game right now.
Yes.
Different video games, but it's unusual. So what are you playing right now?
I am currently playing Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, you started Starfield as well?
I'm 45 hours into it already.
Jesus, bro. What do you do at home? Nothing.
Play video games.
That's all.
Yep, play video games.
No wonder the yard work don't get done and shit.
Yeah, well,
I've been putting off stuff too, but I got like 6 hours in a whole week for video games.
I've got that.
So what are you thinking on the I feel like you're more Baldur's Gate. Because it depends on how you are.
They're two completely different games.
Bethesda too.
Yeah.
Bethesda games are Bethesda games, man. You've got to come in expecting a little bit, but over the course of time, they have just so much in them.
Yeah, and for the longest time, like my absolute favorite game of all time was Skyrim.
Yeah, you and many others.
So that went for
I played Skyrim
time.
after it was really old. I played Fallout 4, I think, and then went back to Skyrim.
Oh, wow.
But Fallout 4 was my first experience with any of their franchises. And so, like, the shit that people were complaining about, I loved that game. I had thousands of hours in that game.
You've got fucking, like, purists that are like, Fallout New Vegas was the best Fallout they ever had.
Heard a lot of that.
And Obsidian did Fallout New Vegas. It wasn't even Bethesda.
Right.
So, to have your first experience be Fallout 4 with the Bethesda franchise is fine.
I feel like it's people who see the movie before they read the book.
Yeah.
Because the people that read the book first are always disappointed. You have expectations. If you have no expectations and you just come in and see it for what it is, I think more often than not you're going to have a better time when you're not judging it based on something else, you know?
Yeah. So Starfield is it's absolutely beyond what I expected it to be.
It's big.
It's fucking enormous.
Yeah.
And it is a Bethesda game. But as far as Baldur's Gate 3 goes, I bought Baldur's Gate 3 when it was in development.
Yeah.
And I'm currently sitting on 200 hours in that game.
Do you have a party in that game?
Yes.
Generally speaking, you have like a party of, do you control people individually or is it as a group?
You control them. You control the people individually.
Okay.
So,
is it an over the head kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Angle over the head?
If people aren't familiar with isometric games, it's like Diablo.
Yeah.
Only Diablo is action all the time. Baldur's Gate 3 is once the action starts, like once the combat starts, everything turns into turn-based.
Turn-based, yeah, which I don't love, but it's easier to manage
it's
for a group.
It is as close to the tabletop Dungeons and Dragons experience as you can get with a video game.
That's cool.
And Larian Studios just knocked it out of the park. The writing in it, the characters, and all the characters are compelling. The writing in it is fucking phenomenal.
That's cool.
And it, like I said, it is as close to 5th edition D&D on the computer as you can get it.
That freaking sun just hit that windshield so hard. I'm so glad that
he's
guy's
moving.
leaving.
You got it looks like there's
Put
a
it on.
spotlight on
Holy
you, too.
fucking
You see
shit,
that?
dude. Yes.
Yeah.
I could feel it first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a
I
lot.
could barely see anything.
And that's why the hat's nice. Just a tip and good.
Let's
No,
how about some just the tint
just the tint
on those
eventually.
windows?
Actually, a lot of what we were just talking about. So he just brought in a cigar in a bag.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys saw or not.
He fucked it up.
Actually, hold on. Let me pull the band off.
Jesus Christ! I thought the dogs were bad. Fucking born in a barn, shit, motherfucker. Why'd you throw that away? Jason would have smoked it.
I sure would have.
He probably still will.
Yeah, if you give it to me, I'll smoke it. Fuck it.
All right, so won't draw.
Oof.
Now, this is a person that has smoked this same cigar, boxes and boxes of them.
Yeah.
And they've had a problem with the last 3 in a row.
3 boxes or 3 cigars?
3 cigars in a row.
A little deep on the cut.
A little deep in the cap, but still within the cap.
angled.
But
No, I'm sorry, not deep. I meant narrow.
yeah.
So, like, if you're having trouble with draw, you might need another couple millimeters off. I don't know.
I mean, that's hard to recut.
Yeah.
Where it's at. But
Sure.
look at the tunnel down the middle of it. So it's tunneling like crazy.
You talk, I'll show.
So it tunneled like crazy on him, and I, was asking a lot of what we were just saying. But I think with that one, it would go back to a purge issue. So I told him, I said, if this happens again when she's smoking it, have her try and blow out, and then if that doesn't work, cut off the a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and do that. And
Are you talking about cut a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch off the top or
off the burnt
bottom?
end.
Okay.
And that way, if your issue's right there where it's burning, if it was a collapse or an oil buildup where you're saying the highest rate of that's going to be where all that heat was previously. Retoast it, restart, go again. And then if that doesn't work, then you say, yeah, this thing's junk and you go to town. But he said it's been multiple out of this one box or that problem.
Could be one roll or two.
So
wow.
That company specifically does a separate barcode on it.
Yeah.
For each box, has its own individualized barcode, and it has its SKU. So with them, I'm gonna reach out to them and I'm gonna let them know, hey, this box, I had at least 5 where they had draw issues, collapses. This is a regular smoker who only smokes this one cigar,
Right.
and they are now transitioning to a new cigar because they don't want to deal with it again.
Sure.
I moved them to a fresh box that I just got.
And that's the right thing to do
today.
because they can't. If there is an issue, they can't fix it if they don't know they have it.
Right. And that's what a lot of people, that's why I'm bringing it up. Tell us that there's a problem so we can grab that box and we can pull that code off. Because most of the manufacturers have a way of identifying who rolled it, who tested it, who did what on that box. It's all in or on that box.
90%. Most of the time, it's going to be human error.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's probably going to be the consumer's human error. But you need to determine. You need to go through that, vet the process, figure out where it was. Because wherever it is, you need to fix it.
Yeah.
If it's how you're smoking the cigar, let's teach you how to smoke it right so that you're not ruining your cigars. And then if it's not you, let's correct the problem at the source, because chances are you're not the only one that's having an issue.
Yeah. And then with some of the cheaper cigars, they'll burn fine if you smoke them perfectly.
Yeah.
But if you screw up at all, they don't have that tolerance. They weren't built well. I mean, there's a reason it's $2.
Right.
But if you take your time and you give it that love, you could still get a decent experience out of certain cigars. If you're okay with a one note or, cheaper cigars are cheaper for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So if you're okay with all those other things, then to get the burn right, that's when what we're saying really compounds and becomes a big deal. Is with a cheaply made cigar, you're going to have a better experience if you smoke it better.
Oh, yeah.
So just simplicity.
Fuck yeah, we had some nerd time while you were gone.
I didn't mean to come take it away, but it just seemed like a good example.
It seemed like a good way to go somewhere different for a few minutes, but also limit it in case it's not well received.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I figured then when Sam come back in, we'd have a reason to cut it off, and maybe we get some good feedback, maybe we get some bad, maybe we get nothing. Whatever.
I miss playing video games.
Let's welcome the new members to the group. This week we've got Michael Palermo, Emmett Brown, Dina Pritchard, John R. Reamer, Darius Wallace, cool name, Connor Rittiger, Michael Brescala, Scott Rax, Austin Tyler Cleghorn. Fuck yeah. Cody Gilmore, John D. Bonaventura, and John G. Hoffman.
Nope.
More Hoffmans. Not your
not one
Hoffman.
of mine.
No.
But I will say that I see 1, 2.
I don't know. Your dad looks like a kind of guy, kind of around. You know what I mean?
I see 4 of my regular customers on here. So thank you guys for jumping on and checking out the show.
Hell yeah.
So
appreciate it.
yeah, much obliged. Much obliged.
Oh, there's a fucking cowboy hat digging into his brain.
One more.
Guys, if you didn't listen earlier, like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to us still at the end of the show, chances are you probably are. But don't forget, you could do it on every platform. And we've got new instructions per Sam. Comment on the videos, because apparently that's good for us.
Yeah, that's very good for us.
You know, I think you comment in most places too, the platforms and stuff.
Yeah,
so, and if you don't want to do that, if you want to reach us directly, you can get us on the Facebook group. As always, you can email at thecigarjunkies@gmail.com. So, you know, there's lots of different options for you guys to reach out and interact with us. We do say it's becoming more and more every week, but it is a cigar show for cigar smokers by cigar smokers, right?
Yeah.
We're building up to it.
Lounge talk, baby.
Yeah. I can't hear what's going on in the background. Is that our exit bump? All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week, hopefully Sunday at 9. Say your wine.
Salud.